Thanks so very much, our sister, for your sweet song. God bless you and God do you good. Yes, once again, this is Matalo TV coming to you live from our studios. And I believe you're well wherever you are tuned in. Yes, I promised all of us that we are going to be back on a call to the hurting man. And I believe to those of you who've been following us, you've really covered quite a great deal and you have learned a lot. Yes, be reminded that we have a duty to carry on and we cannot allow ourselves to hide or to bury our heads in the sand when things are going wrong. We must take care of the boy child. Be reminded, I've always said that a man is composed of 6 pillars, namely that he is a leader, he is a provider, a protector, he must be hardworking, a counselor, and a priest in his own capacity. We've been able to cover up to this level of a man as a hardworking being. And today I want to introduce us a man as a counselor. It should be born in our mind that God cannot allow any one of us who is a leader to remain without counsel. So if you must be a leader and if you must remain a leader, you must also bear in mind that God has given you what it takes to counsel. Yes, because there is no leader that is without counsel. Every other leader and every leader that you find around, and godly leaders or godly ordained leaders, because men by nature are born leaders, we must understand that also God equipped us with the counsel that is needed, not only to raise our young people or our families, but also to guide other people that are related to us, either in the society or in our families and relatives. We need to understand that we have a responsibility to counsel them that comes our way. Yes, and I've always said again and again that when we miss counsel, we miss it all. And when we find families that are without counsel, now that's where worries start to strike, because it is only a matter of time and those families will be no more. It is in the family setups that counsel is highly needed to be able to guide and to give that family a direction and the right direction to take. And maybe I would borrow maybe from the Kikuyus. We have this history with us that the father used to have a house, a separate house that they would call the Ngira, where he would call in the evening his boys to give them the right counsel on how to go about life. Yes, and they would get themselves as allowing some fires, as they would warm themselves in the evening, as they would make some fires and warm themselves in their father's dingira. The father would take the initiative to train his sons and to give them the right counsel on how to go about life. And what are some of these counsels that these young ones used to receive from their daddy? Now, number one, the fathers would teach their sons on how to respect their parents. And it was a serious matter if a child would rebel against their parent. There were repercussions that would come as a result of that. And so a father would take some time and counsel his sons and tell them, as long as you are alive and kicking, live to respect your father and live to respect your mother, for they are the people who brought you in this world. And when you don't honor them, and when you don't treat them with respect, you are, sowing some seed that some days will also be able to reap. So a father would tell their sons, never ever disrespect your father, never ever disrespect your mother. There are consequences that comes with that. But we have a generation today who cares less. And we cannot also heap blames on them, because if if their fathers and mothers were never counseled, what do you expect of the children they'll give birth? What do you think of the generation that they are going to raise? We are going to have a very disrespectful generation and a very disrespectful society. Yes, a son would be told of their father, even if you get angry with your parent, never ever open your mouth to shout back to your parent, either your father or your mother. Never speak an evil word towards your mother or your father, because such words will come hitting back on you, and the consequences are dire. And so a son would be cautioned early enough that even when they are angry with their fathers, they cannot dare stand to exchange words with their fathers or with their mothers. Is it happening today? No, that's a gone story, whereby now you find a son, when they get angry with their mother or with their father, they'll vomit all manner of wicked words to their parents. They'll shout to their parents, they'll shout them down, and they'll argue with their parents. Listen to this. That is where we are going wrong, and that's where we are losing generations. Listen to this. A father would tell their sons, my son, I know I'm not an angel, I'll make mistakes, but never ever correct your father. Yes, don't show yourself a genius to correct your father. Overlook the mistakes of your father, and don't pick an argument with your father. You'll be a loser and you'll pay dearly. Never pick an argument with your mother. Yes, it is dangerous and you'll pay for it dearly. When that woman you see around sheds tear because of because of your disrespectful actions, because of the misbehavior, the bad behaviors that you are carrying on with, when they shed their tears because of you, the earth will reject you. So a father would give warning ahead of time. He would give the right counsel. He would guide his son on how to carry themselves with true respect in the presence of their parent. And another thing, a father would tell their sons, as you run to respect your parents, be reminded that your parents have brothers and sisters. Those are also your fathers and your aunties, and you don't dare pinpoint a finger on that other father. Yes, whatever whatever repercussion that you may reap from dishonoring your biological father, they are the same repercussions that you reap when you disrespect his brother or his sister. A father would caution their sons and tell them, when you see that other brother of your father, he is still your father, and he can curse you or bless you. So handle them with care. Do we have such things today? We don't care. We only respect our daddies, but their brothers and sisters, we have no concern. We don't care whether they belong to us or whether they are in our blood lineage. We don't care. Listen to this. This is where we are losing the battle. We need to understand that it is the duty of the father to give his sons and daughters the right counsel concerning their family circle, concerning their their family lineage. Show your sons and daughters how to respect and to honor those other family members, be it nuclear family or extended family. Such people ought to be honored and to be respected. And a father would caution their sons. We might be having our own differences between me and my sister, or between me and my brother. Never involve yourself. Never indulge in such differences. Keep off such differences, because you are the one to suffer when you try to engage in such differences. Today we have sons and daughters who can stand and abuse their aunties, who can stand and question those other fathers that are born on the side of their father. They can stand and abuse them and disrespect them. Listen to this, my sons and my daughters. Those guys are bad guys. They can curse you and your life will be cursed. They can make your life very hard. Don't you ever dare joke around with your auntie, or with your uncle, or with your elder father, or or those other younger fathers on the side of your father. Never ever dare pinpoint a finger on them. Never ever dare pick a fight with them. Never ever dare disrespect them. Carry them with all respect, and it shall be well with you. Yes. And I want to borrow from the Word of God, because it is important that I also borrow from the Word of God. The Bible says what in Proverbs chapter number 22 and verse 6. The Bible says, train a child in the way he should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from that way, or they will not depart from it. So it is the duty of the father to give counsel to their daughters and their sons on how to conduct themselves, and how to associate with other family members, and how to show respect to the elders of that family. So it is important that we go back to where we lost the battle. It is important that we don't allow ourselves to be manipulated by the Western cultures and live away and do away with our culture. Yes, don't you ever copy other cultures and forget your culture. We have the Jewish today. The Jewish, no matter how corrupt the world is, they'll always stick to their culture, and they stand by their culture, and that's why they have remained a people of God. Listen to this. They say it in Kiswahili, mwacha mila ni mtumwa. I don't encourage that we get indulged or we get involved with all manner of culture that comes around, but we should be very practical in what we are doing, and be very careful to choose what culture will guide us into the right way, and what culture not to get involved in. So we must be wise enough, because times are also changing. There are things in our cultures that cannot give us some good guidance today, and we need to do away with such, but we need to embrace what culture that keeps us going and going in the right direction, right? Like respecting your father and your mother, and being disciplined in all that you are and in all that you have, and know how best to relate with all people. Such are cultures that we need to embrace. We need to learn how to live with other people to live with other people in good harmony. We need not to be some thorns in the flesh, but we need to be sons and daughters that everyone want to appreciate. So a father would go ahead and tell his sons and daughters, now that you have learned to respect your mother and your father, and the uncles and the other fathers from the side of your father and the aunties. Now listen to this. It is also important that you learn to respect one another, because as siblings, if you don't respect one another, you'll destroy that generation, and that generation will not go far. So they were also taught on how best to respect one another. They were taught on how best, to relate with one another. A son would be told of their father, learn to respect your sister. And a sister would be told of the father, learn to respect your brother. Live in harmony. Live in peace. And as you live in harmony and in good peace, you're going to build a strong generation of sons and daughters, and you're going to pass down that information to your generation, such that we may not lose a generation, but we may keep a generation for many years. So a father would tell their sons and daughters, whatever keeps people together is the art of knowing how best to respect one another. You may not be equal, you may not be you may not be the same in all areas, but you must appreciate respecting one another at all times. So today we have a very funny generation, and we have a very funny society whereby nobody respects the other. Sons don't respect one another, daughters don't respect one another, sons and daughters don't respect one another. We are losing this battle whether you like it or not. There is no miracle that will happen to cause us not to lose this battle when we don't advise, when we don't give the right counsel to our sons and daughters. And now look at the outcome. When we are not ready to give counsel to our sons and daughters, what is happening in the public domain? We have people who are so disrespectful to authority, people who are so disrespectful to their teachers, so disrespectful to the administration, so disrespectful to the authority that is in the nation. They don't care. So disrespectful even to the man of God. Listen to this. That is not the way to go. A father would tell their sons and daughters, now having understood how best to respect your father and your mother, the brothers to your father, the sisters and the brothers to your mother. Now you come to this other area. You need to respect your grandparents. They have a special blessing for you. Yes, there are sons today and daughters today who are not trained on how to respect their grandies. Listen to this. And when they go to the villages, they have no room for the grandies and the grandfathers and the grandmother. They don't care. They don't care how they handle them. They don't care how they speak to them. Listen to this. It was a taboo to speak ill of your grandmother, your grandfather. It was a taboo even to disrespect them. It was a taboo not to handle them with care. Yes, listen to this. These are the people who brought forth your mother and your father, and they require great respect and great honor. So if you don't understand that and you mishandle your grandfather or your grandmother, you are out to suffer many consequences. You are out to suffer many curses. And so today, listen to this, because we have a very dependent society, a very dependent people that know no boundary, that know no respect, that know no peace. Listen to this and listen carefully. When we miss counsel, we miss it all. When we miss counsel as a society, we lose that society. When we miss counsel as as a nation, we lose that nation. That is the truth that you need to understand and that you need to bear with you. So these things are there to, are there to remain, and they will be with us till we go to the grave. They are here to remain, and they will be with us until we go to the grave. Listen to this. There is nothing that you see around that is not in the Word of God. So when you assume that you are just an independent person who cares less, you are a loser in this world, because it is God who created the tribes. It is God who created the nations that you see around, and he set on them their traditions and cultures. So don't you ever look down on your culture and traditions. You need to understand how to go about this if you want to emerge a good person in this life, and if you want to emerge a good leader in the society, in the family, and in the nation where you belong. So a father would tell their sons and daughters, when you go visiting your grandmothers and your grandfathers, behave, because they carry a special blessing over this family. If they make some noise there, it will affect everybody in that lineage. If they curse from there, that curse will follow down will come down the lineage. So they were to be treated in a special way. How many sons and daughters know this today? We are born in the city. We are city dwellers. We care less about the village old people. Listen to this. There is a special blessing that comes from those old folks that you see around. Yes, there comes a very special blessing when you know how best to honor them and to treat them. So don't mishandle them. Treat them with care and with respect. A father would go ahead and tell their sons, my son, when you see your uncle around, behave. An uncle is a very dangerous person. The one who is the brother to your mother, that man is a dangerous person. If you annoy them, the earth will vomit you. If you annoy them, the earth will vomit you. If you annoy your auntie, if you're not careful not to annoy your auntie, many things may go wrong when you annoy them. So be careful not to annoy your aunties. Be careful not to annoy your uncles. They are dangerous people. A father would tell their sons. They would give the right counsels to their sons and also to their daughters. That was the duty of the father. So get to understand all that. Now another thing a father would tell their sons, once you are done with the knowledge of understanding how best to relate and to associate with family members, a father would tell their sons, whatever authority that you see around ought to be respected. Whatever authority that you see around ought to be respected. Yes. Now, a father would tell their sons, when you join school, you'll find authority in school. Learn to honor the authority that you find in school. Yes, when you go out in the village, there is the administration that governs that village. Learn to honor and to respect the authority over your village. Now a father would tell their sons and daughters, never dishonor authority, for it will pay back in full. So anytime you dishonor authority, that authority will pay back in full. So sons and daughters would be advised such that they may escape the wrath of whatever authorities that they are under in or they are working under. Now another thing a father would tell their sons, as you respect the village authority, also learn to understand that it is also important that you honor the authority of the nation where you belong. You are not a free ranch. You are a person under authority. So you don't just control yourself, but you need to understand that you are a man or a woman under authority, and you should never ever overlook any authority that you find yourself under. Because the moment you ignore and you overlook such authorities, the payment will come to you in a very harsh way. It will pay back, and it will pay back in a very expensive way. So a father would advise their sons to know how best to relate with the authorities in their areas and in their surrounding, such that they may find peace, and peace that will last, such that they may live to enjoy, not to endure. So a father would advise their sons to honor authorities. Now look at it today. All of us are talking about human rights, and every one of us has their own right. I don't deny that we need to defend our rights, but we also need to differentiate issues. We need to learn, number one, to respect the authorities they are in, and we need also to be humble, not to be abusive people, not to abuse the authority that is governing us. So a father would also teach their sons, now that you have discovered that you are working under various sectors of authority or departments of authority, you need also to understand that it is important that you realize that above every other authority, we have the authority of our God. And for your information, even to them that are very, very illiterate, the tribes that are very illiterate, they have a sense in them telling them they don't just belong to themselves, they belong to a God somewhere. Yes, they have that conscience telling them they don't belong to themselves, they have a deity that they should worship. So God reveals himself in various ways. He does not just reveal himself to the educated. He reveals himself in mysterious ways to every tribe, to every nation. So a father would advise their sons and give them the right counsel concerning the God of all creation. They would tell their sons, my son, never mock God even in your dreams. God is never mocked. Never talk ill of God. He hears in secrets. He sees in secrets. And so the father would advise their sons to understand that above every other authority, we have the supreme authority, who is our God and the creator of all things. Yes. So our fathers would train their sons and their daughters the fear of the Lord. And for your information, even before the white man came with the gospel, the tribes also knew there was God. It is not a new thing that was introduced by some white guys. No. The God of all creation used to reveal himself in various ways. It is only that sometimes we have these cunning people who want to demonize everything and prove that they are only people who qualify to reveal God to other people. No, God reveals himself in mysterious ways. He will allow every living thing to know that he exists. So it's not about a man introducing God to other men. And I don't deny it. I don't fight that. It's good that we educate one another about God. But this is the only thing that I want to make clear, that it is not about men introducing God to men. It is about God revealing himself to his creation. Yes, that is what people should understand. And so a father would guide their sons and daughters on how to submit to God. submit to the supreme authority, because when other authorities are getting defeated, and when other authorities cannot hold, the authority of our God is supreme, and it will hold forever. Yes, so sons and daughters would be trained on how to honor God and to honor his authority. And number two, a father would train their sons and daughters on how to worship God. Don't assume that your sons and daughters know everything about God. It is the duty of the father to give counsel to their sons and daughters on how to worship God. Why are we having the pagan nations in the world today? Why are we having paganism in societies today? It is because sons and daughters were never introduced, were never counseled of their fathers on how to worship God and to respect his authority. And so when they grew on their own independent mind, they began to deny the existence of God. They have the right to do such if nobody introduced them and counseled them on how to worship God, to respect God, and how to honor his authority. So a child grows from what they see and what they hear. So if nobody taught them on how to worship God and to honor God and to respect his authority, they will they will divine their own ways of living, and they will choose what they want to choose in life, and they will defend that one as their own lights. Listen to this. We need to correct our sons and daughters before they get into the wrong direction. We need to counsel them and offer them the right counsel, such that we may not lose them to the world. A father would tell their sons and daughters, now that you have known that we have the supreme authority, and now that you know that you need to worship the supreme authority, you need to involve God in all your affairs. Now we must step forward and think beyond now that. Now a father would come to this stage of life and tell their daughters and sons that there comes a time when you develop a demand to marry or to get married. So a father would take their sons through that journey also. And this is something that I want to mention here. A father would take time to tell their sons that as you grow together with your sisters, never make a mistake of having sexual intercourse with your sister. You bring to yourself, you defile yourself, and you bring punishment upon yourself. So a father would caution their sons never to lie with their sisters or to have sexual intercourse with their sisters. That one was a serious issue, and it was never taken rightly. Today we have this complicated society and a confused society whereby sons are sleeping with their sisters, sisters are sleeping with their brothers, and they are even giving birth to other sons and daughters. Listen to this, you are doomed. It doesn't work that way. Never have, a father would tell their sons, never ever sleep with your sister. Never share the same bed with your sister. It is a taboo. It is something that is wicked and so evil. Something that need to be condemned in every, condemned in whatever levels. It need to be condemned and not to be condoned. So today, where are fathers who are telling their sons not to sleep with their sisters? Now mothers would also take a duty to educate their daughters not to sleep with their brothers, and they would tell them openly the repercussion that comes with sleeping or having sexual intercourse with their brothers. Yes, these are some of the things that we are no longer talking about. We just allow our sons and daughters to have sex in the house and enjoy sex no matter what. Listen to this. We are bringing on ourselves curses. So that is something that need to be observed. Another thing, a father would tell their sons, never waste yourself with women. It is dangerous. Never ever waste yourself with women. Yes. Because at the end of the day, you'll die a frustrated man and you'll not achieve anything in this world. So if you have some behavior of wasting yourself with women, whoever is listening to me and wherever you are, understand, nobody wastes themselves with women who will make anything out of life. You die a poor person and a silly person. You'll be very silly. Foolishness will read you. And you die frustrated. So that is, wasting yourself with women, it's not wisdom, it's folly, it's foolishness. So a father would tell their sons, it is dangerous to waste yourself with women. And a father would tell their sons, it calls for a strong man to make a decision to remain with one wife. It takes a strong man to make a strong decision to remain with one wife, because there are better women outside there, and they are being born other who are more beautiful than the one that you had seen yesterday. They are being born on a daily basis. So if you don't make a strong decision to remain with one woman, you'll have a million of them coming your way, and no woman will tell you that because you're married, they don't want to be married. No, everybody want to be married. I know that one doesn't augur well, but that is the truth of the matter. So, and the father would tell their sons, if you are not careful to handle yourself in the right way, you are going to be miserable the whole of your life. So also daughters would be advised of their fathers, never allow men to joyride on you. Never allow men to take advantage of you. Please be a strong daughter and conquer the desires of the flesh and win yourself respect in this world. How do you win yourself respect? By holding yourself together until God gives you the right husband. Yes. So a father would help their daughters and their sons understand the long journey that they ought to walk. So from there, a son would be told of their father, my son, if you want to become a true father and a true son in this family, when it comes to matters marriage, don't you go that journey alone. Allow me to guide you and allow me to show you how to go about that journey, because once you make a mistake in making the choices, or in getting in matters marriage, if you make a mistake, it will torment you. That mistake will torment you. That mistake will live with you, and that mistake will pain you for life. So a father would tell their sons, my son, let me guide you into this. Why was it necessary for the father to guide their sons into marriage and into making the right choices? It was important because their sons were only growing up and they did not have all the information about marriage. So the father needed to guide their sons on how to go about such that they may not put themselves into pains. So another thing is that a father needed to guide their sons and daughters to make the right choices, because every family has some history. And so if you would make a mistake and marry from a long family, the bad things that eat up that family will also eat your generation. So those are some of the guidelines that a father would give their sons and daughters, and remind them that it is not only important to have, to give in marriage. It is not also important to get married, but it is more important to care for the generation that you're going to raise. So what generation you bring in the service of the earth, it will take the root on which you created for such. So a father would advise their sons, and they would take them systematically on the journey on how to get married and how to continue in marriage. So it was also the duty of the father to tell their sons, now when we have qualified, when you are qualified now to have the right girl in your life, and when you have qualified to introduce them to your family and maybe get accepted, when you have qualified in such levels, you don't just take that girl for marriage. You need to understand their processes, their processes that ought to be followed. We need to pay the dowry. The father would tell their sons, we now need to prepare ourselves to pay the dowry. So the father would guide their sons on how to pay the dowry, and it was the duty of the father to help their sons pay dowry. That one is also very important. And so those kind of engagement would carry on, and the climax of it all is to have now the bride introduced to the bridegroom, and the blessings would be spoken over the bride and the bridegroom by both parties. So today we have people who are not blessed in any way. They only came together and they formed what we call a come we stay. They were never blessed by the parents of both parties. They were never engaged in the process, and they want to to pretend that things are okay. It doesn't work that way. Things don't just work for the sake of working. Things are made to work. And so it was the duty now of both families both parents to come together and pronounce blessings over their sons and daughters. So these are some of the things that we need to understand. And because today I'm only introducing us to a man as a counselor, I'm going to take you into the depth of this, and I'm going to show you many things that we need to know and to understand. Because if we miss counsel in our families, we miss that family and we lose it. If we miss counsel into the society, it's only a matter of time. We are going to lose that society no matter what. If we miss counsel in the nation, now it's only a matter of time, and that nation will be lost. So we are saying here, a man has a great part to play in giving the right counsel, not only to his family, but to the society and also to the nation. So it is important that we understand these things. So I'm going to teach us systematically until we get to see the clear picture of a man as a counselor. And so get encouraged, because we are going to unfold mysteries here, and we are going to get helped, we are going to get healed, and we are going to get promoted, because once we have the right information, promotion comes our way. God bless you as we turn to the other side of the studio and receive this other number.